All right, all right, all right. It's time for the Shark Spawn with Pop Culture Shark. Forgot the name of the show. I am Final Monkey.
And I'm not Matthew McConaughey. I'm Caleb.
Today, we are bringing back an old segment of ours, a favorite of ours. He Made Me Do It. This is Christmas edition. So we chose a movie literally about He Made Me Do It and a movie about Christmas. So,
I didn't even think about that. Like I knew the Green Knight was Christmas, but yeah, Frailty is definitely he made me do it.
yeah. uh, so before we get to these two movies, though, we'll do our weekend checkup and then we'll do some news. Uh, Caleb, how you been doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Just kind of been running around doing some last minute Christmas shopping, and playing too much Destiny at this point. Like I definitely want to take a break from Destiny. After Christmas, I want to like catch up on some backlog stuff that just I haven't gotten around to it. I still haven't technically beaten Hades yet, and I've been playing that for months, and I have a lot of fun with that. But I took a break from Hades to play more Destiny, and so I'll probably take a break from Destiny to play more Hades. Other than that, showed a friend Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. We had them over and watched the holiday special and Volume 3 in one night. Um, this is the friend that we show like it's like okay, we're gonna watch Eternals and then Josie and the Pussycats, or we're gonna watch Ant-Man Quantumania then Bullet Train. Like we would show them a bad Marvel movie and then just a good movie that's gonna blow your mind. Um, and yes, Josie and the Pussycats is under the ladder. um, so he historically had actually it's not he did not he was not blown away by Guardians of the Galaxy like everyone else was,
Mhm.
because he watched them recently, kind of like from Iron Man all the way to Endgame. And the Guardians just did not stick out to him for some reason, which is super weird because he is a fellow Star Wars enjoyer and Star Wars hater, like all of us. And I don't know, they just didn't grab him. And I'm like, dude, I'm gonna go ahead and set your expectations astronomically high. Guardians Volume 3 is my number one. It is the top of S tier. We haven't gone through another tier list since we did it originally, but Guardians Volume 3 is now the top of my S tier. It is the best MCU movie that they've come out with. And he's like, okay, and we watched it, and he's like, that didn't even feel like it was the same series as the previous ones. And I'm like, it kind of does, but you also remember that Infinity War happened in between 2 and 3.
Yeah.
um, and so we talk about it. He's like, yeah, that's probably the best out of like all of the Marvel movies that I've seen, in the MCU at least. And he agrees with that. So it was a lot of fun, lots of discussion, and we're like, they saw Kang and like, let's make that guy the main villain. Whenever they had High Evolutionary right there.
Right. So dumb.
um, but yeah, how about yourself? We haven't done a whole lot of talking this week. I get holidays are getting us busy, but I know you said that you finished the last battle.
I finished the Narnia books. I really enjoyed them. Um, we're gonna have our conversation about that on what is it, the
The seventh.
7th of January.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna keep most of my thoughts till then. I do have questions there, but Also, I think I liked it in different ways from you and Daniel.
Okay.
But like I said, we'll get there.
One question though.
Uh huh.
Did they do Susan dirty?
I have thoughts about Susan.
Okay. Okay.
I
Okay.
think yeah, we'll talk about that on the 7th.
Okay. Okay.
Um, so I took all those back to the library and got something new to read. So I grabbed some. I was like, I'm gonna read some different manga I haven't tried. So I grabbed Jujutsu Kaisen or something. I haven't started it yet, but I also grabbed Vinland Saga, and I'm really enjoying Vinland Saga.
Okay. That
It's a
sounds familiar, but I haven't.
lot of people are saying it's like the best anime this year. It's Vikings. The guy's name is like Thorfinn, and one guy's name was like Floki. So I think there's some Norse stuff going on under the undertones.
Maybe it's just a coincidence.
Yeah, I don't know if they're just named after these characters or if it's really going to be like a because the guy's dad's name was not Odin, so I think the way they're just named after these characters. Um, so yeah, that's interesting. I'm really enjoying that. Um, I did do a lot of Christmas shopping yesterday. I kind of struck out on most of the stuff I was looking for, but I did end up buying a bunch of stuff for myself, so I feel really bad. Um, um, hey, they had a gargoyle I
That
was looking for. It
you know,
happened.
it is. I mean, that's just a mood, you know.
Yeah.
Like we went out to go shopping for my dad yesterday, which I'd already got my dad something like months ago. Uh, but yeah, um, definitely had to prevent myself from um, getting something for myself. Bless you.
Yeah, a coughing fit hit all of a sudden, so I was like, "Oh, I gotta mute." Excuse me. Um, let's see. Oh, I did also get a pre-order for Sora amiibo after I
Okay.
missed out on Pirate Mithra. I was like, "Oh, I better get a pre-order this time because I don't know what Nintendo's doing with how many amiibos they're making." So
Yeah. Plus, with Sora, like that is
yeah,
that's Square Enix. Who knows how long that'll be in print?
yeah, I'm still amazed I was able to find a Sephiroth when he came out. So um,
I honestly I love Sephiroth. I don't want to downplay him, but Sora Sora's a little different than Sephiroth.
oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, and then other than that, I've been watching a lot of Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted 2. Um, so yeah, I think that was going to be our news segment. So we can just go ahead and roll right into our
Sure, yeah.
news.
I actually have not watched much of any of it, so break it down for me. What's happening in the world of FNAF?
So far they have found two endings for the game, and I think that's probably going to be it. Is two endings. The game looks a lot of fun. Uh, I'm trying to figure out when exactly it takes place. I don't want to. There's some really fun twists in the game, so I don't want to ruin it if someone's going to watch it or play the game. Um, but it seems to be taking place during Ruin, like from a different point of view, maybe.
Okay,
Um,
I know that there was like a theory like, oh, are we playing as Cassie's dad in Help Wanted to? So is that not the case?
that does not appear to be the case.
Okay.
So I was surprised by who we were playing as. So
See, now I gotta hold on. What Help Wanted to?
I mean, I can put it in the private chat. You want me to put it in the private chat?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, hold on.
This is it. This is your world premiere, Caleb reaction. Let's see. Oh, okay.
Now, that thing may be possessed by the mimic. I'm not sure, but that is what it appears. So, and the other ending, I don't even know what the heck's going on in the other ending. So,
is everyone just kind of on board with the fact that like the new FNAF is like completely disconnected from old FNAF?
yeah, mostly, although this one references a lot of that. Like you are collecting dolls from the happiest day, and there's the other ending has to do with those dolls and stuff. They also introduce Fazbear, the Faz Force, which is like Voltron Fazbear. Yeah,
That's amazing.
it is amazing.
Faz
And they all
Force.
have their own thing they say. If Foxy's like, "Let's rock," and Chica goes, "Let's balk." It's so funny.
Let's bop. Oh my god, Chica, let's bop. That's
Oh,
really funny.
it is. Five Nights at Freddy's. It's kind of a genius franchise that they're able to keep it going, and
You
they
know what?
they
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say they keep it so vague and weird that they keep you hooked about what the mystery is. It just works. I don't know.
Speaking of, because this is how my mind works. You make me think about FNAF goes to Matt Pat. Then I'm thinking of like analog horror. So I've been watching this analog horror. I don't know if you've seen it. Have you seen The Man in the Suit?
I've started it. I haven't
Okay.
finished it. I've seen the first couple of videos, but yeah, it's
Okay.
interesting.
Yeah, gotcha. I got Cameron on that. I think I got him to watch it after we came out of Godzilla -1.
I think I've seen up to where they talk about King Kong.
Okay, yeah, that's about where Cameron got to. He said that that's where he lost interest actually, because he's like, the whole point of analog horror is like the fear of the unknown, and the more they explain, the less interested I get.
I hear you. Yeah, that makes sense.
Speaking of, actually, I did forget to say that I did see Godzilla -1. Have you seen it?
I have not. I am going to try and go next week sometime.
I can say this pretty confidently because I saw it, and then of course, we watched Guardians 3 on Friday, and that was kind of its only competition. Godzilla -1 is probably like the best film I've seen this year.
That's what I've heard. Like it's the best Godzilla movie ever, and probably the best movie of the year.
I am not an authority on Godzilla, so I can't speak to that. I know a lot of people stand by Shin Godzilla, which is the previous Japanese one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but uh, if I can just explain it briefly, it's like not even a Godzilla film. Like you could replace Godzilla with an earthquake. Like it is about the humans. It's about the characters.
Right, right. Yeah, and it from what I've gathered, it takes place like almost immediately after World War II.
Yes. Well,
So
there's a bunch of time jumps, but it
they are still
starts.
reeling from what they just went through. The country is, and now here
Oh
comes
yeah.
Godzilla.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Godzilla appears right as they rebuild one of their major cities.
Mm-hmm.
So no,
Yeah.
it's just fantastic, and it is a war film that celebrates love and life.
Another news I forgot to mention. They announced a new One Piece anime this morning.
I was gonna ask you about that because
The
why
One
are they
Piece,
doing?
yeah.
Why are they
I
doing?
think a lot of people criticize the early seasons of One Piece, the anime quality, and the filler and the pacing and stuff. So I think this is kind of like, you remember they did what was it, Dragon Ball Kai or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be similar to that, where it's like okay, or like when they did Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, you know, because
There
the
was
anime does skip some stuff, like it skips the cover stories that were important and stuff. So I think this will be a more accurate anime.
a difference though. Whenever it comes to what One Piece is versus what Dragon Ball Kai was and what Brotherhood was.
Yeah.
And differences is One Piece is like the book is still being written, the anime is still airing.
Yes. Um, but the we are. I know I keep saying this, but we are definitely entering in territory where I think some people say 3 years. I think 5 years it'll be done, done. Um, so I think we are heading that way.
Sure. Like I said, I just think it's really weird that it's just so weird that it's not done yet and we're already remaking it.
Well, let me put it this way: the show starts with Luffy and Shanks, and Shanks saying, "Don't come back until you're a pirate king or whatever." He's like heading to where Shanks is right now. So I mean, we're getting close to some of that end stuff. Um, so yeah,
One Piece is the Spider-Man of Japan. That's what I'll say.
I don't know if I call it Spider-Man, but the Looney Tunes of Japan is that popular. Like it's everywhere.
No, I'm
And
talking about that we're going to reboot it in the middle of the one that's currently going on.
oh, okay.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Looney Tunes rebooted too several times. So,
That's
anyhow,
true.
um, all right. You got any other news? Are we ready to?
Uh, Nothing that I can think of. I actually haven't been uh, keeping up on. If I'm being honest, there's only one piece of news that I've been. I'm sorry, two pieces of news that I've been religiously keeping up with. That is the day before, because I've been keeping up with the day before for probably about 8 months or so. I was just turned on to that about 8 months ago, and I'm so glad to get some closure.
Is that
Uh,
the Julia Roberts thing, or was the day before? What is that?
oh, the day before is the most wish listed game on Steam.
Oh, that game, the
Yeah,
one that the scam game. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
same
yeah.
game. Yeah, no, I've been keeping up with that, and so I'm just so excited that we got some closure.
Have we? I think it's. I think
Oh
it's.
no, I think the story's over, unfortunately.
I thought they were repackaging it with something else.
Oh no, I mean like
The
the
studio
develop.
closed down, but then I thought I thought I saw something as my goal was talking about that they were repackaging it some with some other unfinished game and sell them both together.
Yeah, probably Prop Night because that's their only other one. uh,
Um,
but it's so funny. And
yeah.
then another piece of news that I've been keeping up with. So I have this pitch for you because I'm noticing that soon there's going to be a vacancy in YouTube content creation
Okay.
that I think that we can fill. So what if we have a segment where we talk about games, but we 100% them, and we talk about
Mm.
if whether or not it's like is it worth playing.
We
And
conquer these games. We could be called the Conquerist.
yes, exactly. um, and then one rule though, staying completely away from charities. I don't want charities involved in my stuff at all. Nothing good comes from charities as far as I've heard.
Really? Okay. Say
uh,
so.
I've just been obsessed with this story. Like
It is wild. Uh, it just it's like he just keeps digging this grave, and it just or
Have you
not grave, but a hole, and it just keeps getting deeper and deeper. And
have you heard so there's the stuff that of in that Discord conversation that they officially released, and then there was a leaked part of the conversation where he bad mouths like Pro Jared and Jontron,
oh no,
like the people who are defending him.
oh, he's so dumb. I it is it's bizarre. It's like he started out defending himself one way, and then it's like he talked to a lawyer and changed um, to something else. You know?
Yeah, like here I think that up until 22 he genuinely, well, it's hard to tell because he comes out and he says like all bits and donation, all bits and subscriptions for the next couple days are going to charity. We're not touching any of it. And he says that so many times throughout the indie land streams. And then in this response video, it's like, oh no, it went towards production costs.
Yeah.
And so so did it actually go towards production costs, or did you really not know about the $600,000 for 10 years?
Yeah.
It's rough. I unfortunately, and I had very little to begin with after all this came out because I genuinely trust Carl and Mutahar. I watch their videos all the time, so I knew that they would not come out with something like they're not Keemstar. They would not come out with something like this
Yeah.
unless there was
And even when they get something wrong, they will point out like I knew he was wrong on the signatures on the tax forms. Like when he
yeah
said that, he came out and said, "Oh yeah, he's from Australia. He doesn't know
yeah
that
yeah
it's an e-signature." Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So
So anytime we talk about completionists, we will use this photo to discuss it. It's
oh
on
god.
screen.
uh,
This is the official completionist story photo.
so I'm gonna have to find it. I have a picture with Billy Mitchell.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to find it.
So if we do Billy Mitchell stories, we'll use your photo. If it's completionist, it's my photo with you know.
Oh my god. Oh god. That's
And I wasn't even a big completionist fan. It was just he was standing there with no lines. Like, oh, well, let's go get our picture,
yeah.
So we hopped over there.
Yeah, and that's my whenever it comes to the completionist, I'm not going to call myself Cameron used to watch the completionist a bit,
Yeah.
but I never I would watch him here and there, mainly about RPGs because he would go like super like his Final Fantasy 7 like 7-part video. I used to watch that a bunch. But yeah, like my thing is I watched K-Wing, Nightwing 01. That was my reviewer that I watched when I was a kid. And then I stopped watching reviews like that. And I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. I think he's doing strictly Batman stuff now, which is cool. But, I'm not watching them, and I'm content with what I had back then.
So I'll say this about Gerard. This is all just alleged speculation. I don't know. I still don't think he was like doing like evil stuff. I just think he had like decision anxiety about what to do with the money, and he just sat on it. And now there's some other funds that may have disappeared, but I feel like he's not the only one involved here. His family's also involved, and I don't know anything about his family, so I'll just
Do
leave it
you,
at that.
based solely on the golf stuff, which I assume is what his dad is super involved with,
Yeah.
do you think there is a possibility that like he genuinely didn't know, but he doesn't want to throw his dad under the bus?
I could see a couple things there because yeah, what you just said, or it seemed like the golf thing was through his family donation, so maybe that's not maybe that's a separate thing from the open hand, even though they kept saying open hand on all the labels, which was wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am familiar with you know what, I'm not going to say that on air. Anyhow,
Charities.
Yeah, charities, and I know of people who have done wrongdoing in charity and paid prices for it. So I know that the authorities do not mess around when it comes to this stuff.
I mean, that audit is coming.
Oh, without question. How much? I mean, this will probably be the part I kind of disagree with Carl on, where he was like, "Hey, here's a link where you could file a complaint." I was like, okay, you know, that'd be the only issue. I was like, oh, come on.
For me, maybe the link was too much. I definitely do think that people are misinformed as to where they can make a request for an audit. Like I didn't even know that you could request an audit. Mm-hmm. Like that's not something that I'm familiar with. So I definitely think that there was, good intention behind it because, this is such a big thing. And, I'm 27 and I don't know how charities work. I didn't know you could audit charities, like, so, yeah, I mean, honestly, in the past month, I've learned a lot about charities in general.
Mm-hmm. Hold on one second. I'm being told something. Yeah. I take back everything I just said. Gerard is completely innocent. So there we go.
Was that from?
I just got a text message. Yeah, from a buddy. He just said, "Hey, I know where you live," and so yeah. All right.
It was Gerard.
Yeah, he just sent me this photo. So
he's gonna come by with a baseball bat.
This is all a joke. We're just messing around. Yeah. Anyhow,
now Billy Mitchell actually would come around with a baseball.
Yes, bat. Billy Mitchell. Well, first there'd be a lawsuit, and then he would.
Yes. Oh man, you know what's really funny is there are similarities between Carl v. Gerard and Carl v. Billy. The only difference is Billy was stupid enough to go through with the threat. I think Gerard is at least only he's just putting out empty threats.
Yeah, he's trying to get him to shut up.
Yeah, but and that's what Billy was trying to do. And whenever he didn't shut up, he's like, "Well, now I'll do it." Why? Because I said I'd do it.
Yeah, Billy makes me nervous. He's very litigious, and
I know, it's so funny. Well, that was a fun segment. I had fun with the roast completionist. That's fun.
So we're gonna talk about these two films. He made me do it. I think what we will do is we will have just a very quick non-spoiler chat about both films.
Yeah,
whether we liked them or not, and then we'll do the spoiler chats for anybody who wants to jump off at that point.
These are definitely films that have there's a lot to talk about, and a lot is revealed in its closing.
Lots of twists.
Yeah, and in there, I will say, I think I called the Frailty twist about 20-25 minutes in.
Okay. Well, I wasn't looking for a twist when I saw it, so it got me pretty good.
Okay, so let's go ahead and talk Frailty.
Okay.
So, and non-spoiler, I think this is one of those where you make me watch it, and I'm like, there's a possibility I've seen this before. I still can't confirm if I've seen it before, but I'm just like, this seems so familiar to me. And so maybe that's part of the reason why I could call it 20 minutes in, because I'm like, damn, well, there's a reason that I. But yeah, I liked it. I thought it was all right.
All right.
Um, so I really won't have a whole lot to say until we get into the spoilers, because I want to talk about
this is
legitimacy of the ending.
Yeah, this is we can't talk about this. This is I think this is the only movie Bill Paxton has directed, and that's a shame because I think he's a really good director.
Apparently, it wasn't even planned. Like, he was a part of it, and then the producer Kirshner or whatever. I watched some like behind the scenes videos. Apparently, he wasn't meant to direct it, but there came a point where they're like, "Hey, why don't you get behind the camera as well and see how that goes?" So like, it was more on a whim that he directed this movie.
Yeah, and I really liked it. For the most part, when something gory or something's happened, they pull back. It's a lot of implied stuff until one point in the movie, which I appreciate. Sometimes it's like, okay, I don't need to see all that.
Well, and so The Dark Knight does this very well, which is like the worst thing in a horror movie is the viewer's imagination.
Yes.
And so,
Absolutely.
and this isn't a horror movie, but like, it's kind of like, The Dark Knight, they like, he puts a knife in Gamble's mouth, but we don't see anything, but we remember it, and we remember what we think we saw.
Yeah, definitely. The worst thing Jaws did was show the shark. It's better when you are imagining the shark. Your imagination is way more powerful than anything they could put on the screen. It's like the evil in Evil Dead. Your imagination's like, oh, what is this? Let's chase everybody. Then at the end, it shows like this thing come to the door, and you're like, what is that? It was much more scarier in my imagination than whatever that was.
Sometimes there is a. I think tell don't show can work sometimes.
Yeah.
You brought up Jaws. Godzilla -1, very much Jaws.
I haven't seen this movie in probably 20 years. I remember enjoying it quite a bit. I don't know if I, on a rewatch, if it still would hit me as hard as it did. But I remember
it's well acted.
Oh, definitely well acted. Yes. All right.
I might have had a rewatch of this, and I just don't know about it.
Yeah.
Like I said, because what happens is I have had many. I'm not gonna say many surgeries, but with my Crohn's, they put me under a lot, and then I go home. And what'll happen is, like, every time I have something, my parents have like a show to go to, or they have a conference, and so my Nana and Papa watch me. And while I'm still kind of out of it, they make me watch these weird, they made me watch the Mothman something one time.
Mothman Chronicles.
Yeah. So this might be something that I originally watched while under the influence.
For me, I have consumed so much pop culture that it all runs together in my head. And on top of that, I have had COVID, and COVID screws with your brain. It really does. There's like a fog where it takes me a minute to remember stuff. And that was 2 or 3 years when I had it, and it's still my son started talking about Chainsaw Man today, and I was like, okay, I know I watched that. He was asking me some question. I had to really sit there and think and go through the plot. Go, oh, okay, yeah, here's what happened. It took me a while to put the pieces back together. Okay. So yeah, the COVID fog is a definite thing that affects a lot of people who have had COVID. So anyhow, let's talk about The Green Knight for briefly. I watched this last night. And it's a weird one.
Yeah, no, very much so.
I don't even know if I would call it a horror film either. Just kind of disturbing. Um,
It's an A24 film, so
yeah. It's one of those. I was describing it to my brother earlier today. I was like, it's one of those. What did I just watch type movies.
yeah.
Um, and I going in, I knew nothing about the Arthurian legend other than what I saw in the trailer. Um,
That's interesting because the ending is sort of different from Arthurian Legend.
yeah, I read what it was afterwards, and we could talk about that when we get to the spoilers. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I was just like, oh, okay. And
It's
then
weird. Yeah,
it,
this is one that I was like, I wonder. I wonder what he'll think of it because this is not one that I expected you to like.
no, it's. I thought it was fine. I thought it's just one of those kind of artsy, weird movies. And when you're done, you're like, huh, okay. And it's one like I don't know if I can recommend to people, but it's also kind of one like, okay. I mean, it's fine that I watched it. Whatever.
Yeah. This isn't on my recommendations list. This is more of just one that like I wanted to talk about.
Sure. Yeah. And I talked a little bit to Daniel about this morning, actually.
Has he seen it?
Yeah.
What do you think of it?
He was talking about some of the changes they make in Hollywood films, and he said there's definitely more paganism added to this and stuff. And he was talking about we started talking about the paganism versus Christianity in the film, how if the king represents Christianity and he's getting sicker as the movie goes on. The evil's having an effect on everything, and so we'll talk about more when we get into spoilers. But yeah, this one, if you want to watch something weird, this is definitely an option.
You know what's interesting? We're gonna have a very interesting conversation about this one because I think that you interpret the ending at face value.
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. I could go two ways with the ending. I'll say that. And the end credit scene just made me confused.
Okay. All right. I Frailty, I give that one a thumbs up. Yeah, you know what Frailty kind of reminds me of? It's one of those like I love Signs, and it kind of gave me like a Signs feel, even though it's not aliens, but just very much that era of thriller. And so I give Signs a thumbs up, go watch this. I'll give Frailty a thumbs up, go watch it.
Yeah, Signs and Frailty are both a lot about faith. Both of those are.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Green Knight is a very soft thumbs up, and pretty much if you like A24 films, then
yeah, I would say if you like A24 films or you like seeing different takes on King Arthur tales, then maybe.
Yeah. So when we get the Spurler banner up. Yeah, there we go. Let's talk. You want to go back to Frailty or go into Green Knight?
We'll go ahead and we'll go do Frailty. We'll talk a little bit more about the plot, and then we'll get into our thoughts on the plot. So this is going to be full blown spoilers. We will talk about the ending and everything. I would encourage you, if you have not seen Frailty, turn this off, go watch on Amazon Prime, then come back.
Yeah, definitely.
I think you will enjoy it better if you don't know the twists.
Yes, we'll go ahead and get that out of the way. I was like, I bet you McConaughey's the younger brother.
Yeah. Well, once you know that there is a twist, I try not to tell people there's a twist. I just try to say,
I didn't know there was a twist either, but like, I was like, there's probably a twist. Like there's honestly, do you know what it made me think of? Because one of my favorite films of all time is The Usual Suspects.
Now,
And
here's a shocker. I've never seen Usual Suspects, but I know the twist ending of Usual
okay,
Suspects.
this is actually framed exactly like The Usual Suspects, which is why my mind even went there. Because, like, you know, whether it's McConaughey or Spacey, they're sitting in there telling their story. And I'm like, okay, you know, if this is like Usual Suspects, then he might be the younger brother.
So basically, if I recall, like I said, it's been 20 years. They are in the car, and Bill Paxton, the dad, just pulls over with his two young sons and says, "There's a barn out in the field. God's given me a vision." They go out there, and there's gloves and an axe and a pipe. And he's like,
So mom dies.
"Okay,
Mom dies, and it's very much implied that through his grief, he, you know, may or may not have heard a message from God while at home saying that they are going to be demon slayers, and they're going to be given 3 magical weapons to slay them with, and you know they're all going to be magical, you know, demon slayers.
yeah.
And so at one point, I think he's on his way home from work or something. He passes a barn, and the light is shining on it, like there's a silver lining, and it's like, you know, it's almost like a quest marker, go here. And
Yeah.
so he goes there, and shining on this wooden stump there are gloves and an axe that says Otis on it. And then he also finds
Yeah, I remember Otis. Yeah.
yeah, and then he finds a metal pipe. And so those 3 weapons are um, the axe, the gloves, and the metal pipe. And so they just and by the way, so what the actual plot of the film is this guy, played by Matthew McConaughey, Fenton, says, "Hey, my brother's dead. I think he was the God's Hand killer." And they're like, what? And so he starts telling the story of his dad. So he's the narrator narrating this a la Usual Suspects.
Yes.
And so that's technically the main plot, but it's all from the perspective of
the other thing is the dad says, "I've got a list of demons that God told me to kill." He has like a list of people's names.
Right.
It's freaky. They start kidnapping people and hitting them with the pipe and then tying them up and making them, I think they have to confess, and then he kills them with the axe and buries them.
So they don't confess.
Yeah.
What happens is Bill Paxton puts his hand on their head and he sees visions of what they've done. No. Here's the thing. Nothing is explicit.
Yeah. And it's
like they don't confess that they've done anything wrong. He just sees what they've done.
Yeah. It is. It's his behavior is disturbing, because you're like, what is this guy doing? And the way that the youngest son is like on board is disturbing. You are largely on the older son's side, because you're like, okay, the dad's crazy, the younger brother's going crazy. I'm siding with the older kid. And he stops believing, and so, or he tries to stop him, and so the dad makes him dig a hole, right? And he like moves the shed and traps the kid in there until he changes his mind. Is that correct?
So he digs the hole, and what it is that's their dungeon where they go and kill people. They take him down there below the shed, and so then he goes to the sheriff. He's like, "Hey, sheriff, my dad's killing people." Sheriff comes. He's like, "No, just come look at the basement." Well, there's no one in the basement. There was someone in the basement, but now there's no one in the basement of the shed. And he's like, oh, well, just a kid. And then Bill Paxton hits him, kills him, and then blames the son for making him kill an innocent person.
Yeah.
And then apparently, whenever he was getting those original names of the list from God, that God told him that his son Fenton was one of the demons. And he's like, I didn't want to believe it. And
Yeah.
so he throws him down there and then shuts the door and leaves him down there for like a week.
Yeah.
And and he's like, have you spoken to God yet? And the kid's like, I don't believe God's not real. I don't believe him. And so he leaves him down there for longer.
Mm-hmm.
And then kid's like, okay, yeah, I believe God has spoken to me, and he's given me a list as well. And that's another thing. Because at the beginning of the movie, the younger brother, says, God gave me a list, and it's like his bullies on there, and he's like, are you lying to me?
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So then they get someone, bring him down there, and he's like, son, I want you to do it this time. So he's got the axe, and instead of going for the guy, he goes for his dad.
Yeah.
Kills his dad. Dad whispers something into the boys, to the younger brothers, ear, and then that's sort of the ending to that.
Yeah, and then that I believe the younger brother completes the job and kills.
Oh yes, he does.
He does. Yeah, so we kind of fast forward, and I think he slips up, and Powers Booth, who's playing the guy that he's talking to, which was always a great name, Powers Booth.
Yeah, it's like Lee Majors.
Yeah. He starts to catch him slip up the way he's described it, realizing, wait a second, you slipped. He said something that slips up, and so you realize that the older brother had became the God's Hand killer, not the younger brother.
No,
it's
no, because it's the younger brother is impersonating the older brother.
I thought that the brother who didn't believe had became a serial killer now, and he had to kill him.
No, it's the younger brother.
Sure?
I'm positive. I actually just finished watching this. That's why I was so late setting up the stream, because I was finishing the.
Why does he kill the brother then? Because I thought he
because
had to
he's a demon.
Hold on, I'm pulling up the Wikipedia plot.
No, yeah, no, because God told his dad that his brother was a demon, and
no.
That is definitely it.
No.
He is Adam.
Doyle is puzzled by his phrase. He said Adam killed himself. Fenton then reveals himself to be Adam. Adam killed Fenton, who had grown up to become the actual God's Hand serial killer, a man responsible for several unrelated murders not committed by Adam destroying demons. So he had become evil, and that's why he had to destroy him.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. I got it mixed up then. No. So, yes, Fenton grows up to be...
It gets confusing because they keep switching whose name is who.
Yeah.
So, yes, the younger brother continued to kill demons. The older brother, though, went on to become a serial killer after he went through, and so the younger brother had to kill him because he was a demon, and God had told them that he would become a demon. Yeah. So it comes to find out, now that I have the spoilers up on the screen, but you come to find out that Powers Booth they've been talking to had killed his own mom, and he was one of the demons on the list.
Yeah.
And that Matthew McConaughey is there to kill him.
And so that's why I think his name is Doyle. He requested the God's Hand case because he kept implying that God's hand is the one that killed his mom.
Gotcha. Okay. So here I think is the bigger twist of the film.
What? No, and that's the thing, is he doesn't admit that he killed his mom. Matthew McConaughey sticks his hand on his head and sees a vision of him killing his mom.
Yeah.
And this is the only vision that we actually see out of all of them. The rest of them is just Bill Paxton making funny faces while holding someone's head.
Right.
And so go ahead, because this is the bigger twist of the film. This is the one that I actually want to talk about.
We then see that the other cops or whoever who had seen him, they can't remember what Matthew McConaughey looked like. All the cameras are now fuzzy, like when it shows him. Like there's a not miraculous, but there is a divine interruption that is stopping people from recognizing Matthew McConaughey so he can continue his work for God, killing demons. And I think his wife is in on it now because I think she says amen or something at the end that they're going to continue these killings together. And I think also he's a sheriff or something.
He takes the sheriff's place.
He takes the sheriff's place. Okay.
Right. He is I'm trying to remember, but like
the implication though is that Bill Paxton has been correct this whole time, and now his son has taken over. And yes, they are on a mission from God. They are the Blues Brothers, and they are going around killing demons. That is what the film leaves you with.
So that is an implication there.
So you're saying, though, not to take everything at face value, you're thinking that, no, he's just crazy.
that is, I'm not saying that that's what I'm thinking. I'm saying that is a possibility.
Okay. I always took it as face value. Of course, back then when I watched films, I took everything at face value. I didn't, I was like 20 when I saw it. I have a lot more. I watch movies differently now.
Yeah.
So
because as far as the tape, obscured by static, these are VHS tapes at this point. Like security tapes are on VHS tapes. That can be kind of explained away.
So you're saying that guy did hang himself and that the tapes just turned off, is what you're saying. Okay. We will get on that subject. Okay. Yes. Tapes can go bad all of a sudden.
Yes. To answer your question, no, but so, and we can kind of surmise that like, oh, he received a vision after touching his head, or this is just what he thought.
I think it's cooler if he's on a mission from God. I think it's less interesting if he's just a serial killer just killing people who he thinks is guilty.
I think it's more interesting if you're not sure.
Okay.
Because so the one thing that is hard to explain away is, how does this guy not remember Matthew McConaughey?
Yeah.
And I almost wonder if this was just some normal guy, not Matthew McConaughey, that like, is it easy to remember some rando's face?
It depends on how long you saw them, and they did this on Lost, where Sawyer would talk about how you could mess with people's memories. Like if you had something that would distract them, like a gold chain or a cast or something they're going to pay attention to more than your face, they'll have a harder time remembering your face.
Yeah. Old parlor tricks.
Yeah, if they could distract you of something else to take your eyes off their face, then it's easier for them not to be able to recognize you later.
Yeah. So I'm not saying that I think that Matthew McConaughey is just crazy. I'm saying that you can take the film at face value. So I think that there is more evidence to take the film at face value than that he's crazy. But I do think that there is enough to not be sure.
Okay. So speaking of movies where you're not sure, The Green Knight.
So, and there's so much that goes on in this film that, for the most part, doesn't matter. That we can just, the plot of
Yeah.
the film.
I'll give you the 3-minute plot is that this is a guy in the king's court that's just kind of not applying himself. He's just kind of there, and he's the king's nephew. And he's like, "When are you going to have a great adventure? Or tell me about your great adventure." And he's like, "I haven't had one." And the queen's like, "Haven't had one yet." And we see the mom, who apparently is Morgana Le Fay, although I don't know if the movie ever says that.
Movie does not say that, no, but
Yeah.
that is who that is.
DC villain and Marvel villain Morgana Le Fay,
and ally in the Magic Treehouse book series, which always messed me up as a kid, because in everything else, Morgana Le Fay is like a bad guy. In Arthurian legend, she's a bad guy for the most part. But in this children's book series about Camelot and time travel and going to different parts of history, she is kind of the Zordon character.
It's movie's weird. They never call the king King Arthur. They never call the wizard Merlin, although they clearly are. I think Gawain is, or however you say his name, is the only one that they call out.
Do they not call out? What's her name? The lady.
Ilsa or something.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. She gets a name, but everybody else doesn't. Essel. Okay.
And then Queen is Guinevere, obviously.
Yeah. So the Green Knight shows up, and it looks like Morgana Le Fay has conjured this creature, and challenges the court that anybody that can. It's a Christmas game. If you land a blow on him, in 1 year hence, he will land the same blow on you. And they ask who will take up this challenge, and so Gawain, I'm sure I'm saying this name wrong. He says, "I'll take up that challenge," and he just lops off the Green Knight's head. And the Green Knight picks up his head and laughs and says, "I'll see you in a year." And so then we see time jump to the year being up and him going on this journey, this strange journey where he meets a lot of strange people before finally confronting the knight at the end. And the knight is going to cut off his head, and he's too scared. He keeps flinching, and he has a green sash around him that's going to protect him. He cannot die as long as he has the green sash on. And he ends up running away because he's too scared to go through with the axe hitting him. And then we see his life from that point on, how he becomes king and how things slowly fall apart because he was a coward and never became a true hero. And he ends up pulling off the green sash and his head falls off. Then we jump back. This was all just a vision. And he is now ready to have his head lopped off, pulls off the green sash. And now the Green Knight laughs and says, "Now you are a true knight." And we kind of cut to black and we don't know what happened. Is that a accurate description?
Did you watch until the end of the credits?
Yes, and at the end of the credits, we see his future daughter playing with a crown, implying that either this is another future vision of him as a hero, returning home triumphantly, or he did return home triumphantly. It is vague, and you're not sure.
So there are.
So the last line of the film is "now off with your head."
Yeah.
What do you think he means by that?
I don't know. I don't know if that was figuratively that he was about to be, okay, now I'm going to actually cut off your head, or
are you getting it?
Hold on. You
getting it? Are you getting it?
Did he dismember another part of him?
No.
Okay.
Oh no! Oh no! 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 No!
I
No!
went
No!
to a
No!
dark spot because that was a
No.
recurring thing in
Oh
the whole movie too.
no! You okay? Okay. You were almost there. You were almost there. Okay.
All right, what is it?
There's a comma after off. Now off with your head.
Oh, go home.
Yes,
Okay, because he manned up at the end and
because
went home.
he manned up because here's the thing. He manned up at the end.
I went to a real dark place.
No, you went to the weirdest place possible.
Because that was a recurring thing throughout the whole film.
No, it definitely was. It definitely was. No. Here's the thing. So
I thought he lost his manhood at the end.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what the movie's about. Is
Oh,
whether he's a man or not. So that's kind of the. Oh man, I'm trying to.
Oh God.
Okay. So the vision that he sees of his life, where his life is terrible.
Yes.
That is the life if he doesn't take off the sash and he just walks away.
Yeah, and when I thought he died at the end, I took it as it's better to live as or die as a hero than live as a coward. Is kind of what the message was kind of saying. That
Which I think you can take it that way. I think that this ending is a 50-50 ending. Remember how I said, like with Frailty, there's definitely more leaning towards.
Yeah.
So I think this is just a straight up 50-50 ending where you can take it as that he did die at the end facing his destiny, or you can take it as he was finally man enough to take off the sash, and at that point the Green Knight says, okay, you are brave, you are a hero, you have gone through this epic journey, now go off with your head.
So let's take a step back from all that. Is everybody that he meets on this journey, like the three people that rob him, the fox, the girl without a head, the strange cabin with the three people, are all of those Morgana Le Fay messing with him? Like every single one of them?
It is a possibility. It really does depend on how you take the ending, because you have to think about the fact that it was Morgana Le Fay, his own mother, who conjured the Green Knight.
Right. And so this was she wants her son to be a hero. So she's teaching him a lesson through all of this. Is kind of how I took it.
Yes.
And when he meets the first three, the three that rob him, and he says
one of which is Barry Keoghan, which I didn't realize the first time.
Oh, is that the kid from Eternals?
Yes.
Okay,
He also plays the Joker in the Batman.
Okay, I knew I'd seen him from somewhere. When he says, he said, were you lying about where the Green Chapel was? And he was like, oh, you're already there. Like this whole thing is his test at the Green Chapel. So I took it from that point on. I took it that everything was Morgana Le Fay testing him in different ways.
Right, which at that point, if she conjured the Green Knight and you take it at face value that his head was cut off at the end of the movie, was his mother sending him to die?
I mean, it would make more sense for her to teach him what it means to be a hero. Like, I think the whole time, like, there's lessons being learned constantly. Like when he's dealing with Winifred, and he's like, "What do I get in return?" And she freaks out, goes, "Why would you ask that? What kind of man are you?"
Right.
It's the mom teaching him a lesson. Like, no, you are a knight. You just do this because you're the hero. You don't ask for things in return. Yeah, I think everything is a lesson being taught by the mom.
Mm-hmm. Now, because I think at this point you're on board with the
Yeah, I think he survived.
yeah. But let's move back and take it at face value. Is there something being said about a mother sending her son to die? Because, and I read this and I was like, that's pretty interesting. It's kind of morbid, but very interesting.
Well, I mean, back then, your story is everything. So if she had a son that just never did anything with her life, they're not going to be remembered. If she had a son who died fighting the Green Knight, that they will tell the story forever, then he will live on in infamy forever.
Sure, yeah. What I found interesting was a mother setting up their son to die is what every mother does. Because the pure action of giving birth, you are setting up your child to die.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, that is so interesting.
What's the Braveheart thing? Did you ever truly live?
Yeah.
You know, everybody dies, but does everybody truly live? And so by going through this quest, he's learning what it means to live, to make these decisions.
Yeah. Now, and I feel like we're kind of working back, like we started at the ending, because I felt like I needed to explain to you the actual.
Yeah, no, and the movie's making more sense as we talk through it. 'Cause like I said, it's a weird. It's a weird movie, and sometimes things don't make sense. One of the things I read on Wikipedia is that the Lord of the Manor is an actual person in the original poem, and that he is the Green Knight, that LaFay has done something to him or whatever. You know, you could read in that. I didn't feel that when I was watching this version.
No. And I also feel like, tell me if now that I've told you this, that like your feeling has changed just a little bit, because I feel like this is a better movie if you don't.
Yeah, now I'm almost tempted to watch it again, even though I don't want to. There's part of me is like, oh, it was kind of like Asteroid City when someone explained to me. I was like, oh, maybe I should watch that again. It would probably make more sense a second time. I don't know if I'm going to watch it again, but I'm tempted to.
Yeah, sure. But like, at the end, his daughter playing with his crown, that he became king. That was his crown. And
yeah, that's kind of what I took it as, but it also could have been a vision.
Sure.
Because we just saw the other vision,
No, and that's the interesting thing, is you either take the ending at face value or you take the end credits as face value. I take the end credit as at face value.
Yeah.
Now, another thing that I find is interesting is the fact that, and I believe, and I've gone back and forth on this, I believe in the original it's pronounced Gawain. Okay. So Gawain, I don't know what his deal is. Like, maybe he doesn't understand the rules of the game.
Well, I think this is the way I interpret it, is because in the original version, the green sash does protect him. He just gets a nick on his neck when the guy tries to lop off his head. The Green Knight's like, oh, ho, you tricked me. Haha, let's go get a drink or whatever. I took it as he's trying to prove that he's a man by hitting him as hard as he can, and he cuts off his head. But he doesn't know what it means to be a man until he goes on this quest.
Okay. Because like it's just as easy to give him a little slice on the arm. So there, it's one thing that
I think the correct answer is to lay down your sword and reply to him lay down his axe is the correct answer. Like a wise man would just lay down your weapon,
right? Yeah.
And since he was unwise and just attacked, and the king tells him, "Hey, it's just a game," and he doesn't grasp what the king is trying to tell him.
Yeah. I personally just love Arthurian legend, and I've read the Gawain poem before, and so find it very, very interesting. You know, it's one thing that I didn't know though. So there was a movie back in the 80s called Sword of the Valiant.
Uh-huh.
Um, and do you know who played the Green Knight?
No.
Sean Connery.
There you go. Sean Connery's the man.
And Peter Cushing. Peter Cushing was in it too.
So here's another question: Did the king, were the king and the queen in on it that the mom was going to summon the Green Knight?
I don't think so. I think that, you know, based on, and it's not, and that's the tricky thing about this film is there are some things that I can take from it, like just within the film, but at the same time, even though it's not said that this is Morgana Le Fay, Morgana Le Fay is totally a person to act on her own accord without consulting the king or queen.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that too. I mean, I don't know, just the way the king and the queen react to the challenge, like be brave, have courage, and it's just a game, and it's kind of like this is your test, or I don't know. Yeah, interesting film. Uh, I do enjoy King Arthur Legends. I don't know enough about him outside of stuff I learned through gargoyles. So it is definitely an area I would love to learn more about. I always thought the biggest crime Disney did was not making a sequel to Sword in the Stone when they made sequels to every other animated film. I'm like, do a Knights of the Round Table animated film. It would make so much sense to see the next part of the journey.
You know what's funny? I've actually never seen Sword in the Stone.
You've never seen it?
No.
I've seen it several times. It's one of those cartoons I just saw all the time.
Is it good? Because Black Cauldron wasn't good.
I mean, it's just classic Disney. A big part of it, it's mostly Merlin teaching him how to make decisions and stuff. And the most infamous part is where Merlin is turning him into different animals so he can learn how to be a bird, learn how to be a squirrel, and all this. And a witch like challenges him to a battle. They're all turning into different animals and stuff, and have this big fight. That's like the most infamous part of the movie that people remember. And the movie ends with him pulling the sword out of the stone. So there's like so much more story you could tell after that, and for whatever reason, they have just never followed up on it.
Imagine if Ocarina of Time ended with him pulling that sword.
Yeah. That's so weird. It's just one of those weird Disney things that they just have. I mean, I don't want current Disney to make a sequel, but it's just very weird that when they were going sequel crazy in the 90s, that they just never touched that property.
Maybe they didn't have the rights to that anymore. Oh no, wait! It's
it's public domain. Yeah. They definitely had the rights. And it's like a big part of a Disney World, the pulling the sword out of the stone at Disney World. It's still something they celebrate there, Yeah, just bizarre. But anywho, those were our two movies. I think we both agree Frailty is a strong recommend.
Mm-hmm.
Green Knight, a little bit weaker recommend, but it's definitely an interesting film.
It's good if you view it optimistically.
It is a long movie. I'll say that. I think it's 2 hours, 10 minutes, and it's kind of slow and plodding at times.
I definitely forgot how long it was. Yes.
Yeah.
Just remember that you did this to yourself because I was going.
Oh no, you gave me choices, and I chose this film.
Well, I was gonna have you watch Narnia, but then you're like, I'm gonna watch it with my family. I'm like, I don't want to take that away from you.
Yeah. So, very good. Next week we're gonna do our gift recommendations here in a minute. In case Caleb forgot, he can find one real quick. Next week there will be no show. It is Christmas Eve. I will be traveling, so the week after that will be the 31st, I believe.
Yes.
We will be doing our best of 2023. what movies we thought were the best, what TV shows or video games, or I don't know if we read any books or comics that came out this year, but just the highlights of the year for us.
You know what? I wanna put something in your head,
Okay.
because one of the hardest things about these best of the year is you don't typically experience all of the year. Do you want to do the best of 2023, or do you want to do our best of 2023?
Let's do our best of 2023. Because
Like
I think
I still want to discuss Godzilla minus one. I would call that best new film I saw this year. But like, there are some films that I've watched this year that I've never seen before that are like long
yeah,
time ago. Um, I don't think any book YouTuber does a best of 2023 books. I think they just do here are the best books that I read this year.
sure. Yeah, we could do it that way. Because to be honest, cinematically, this has not been the best year for movies.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I mean, what I have three that I can talk about that have really stuck with me, which are Godzilla, Guardians, and John Wick. And even then, barely Spider Verse and Mission Impossible. So
yeah, I think
it hasn't been great.
I think we all think the Mario movie was fine, but it wasn't like the greatest film of all time.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah. All right, so we're doing our gifts recommendations. Do you want me to go first, or you want to go first?
I can go first. This is less of this is more of an idea for your gamer family members out there. Give a man a game, and you have given him one game. Give a man $20 in Steam points. You've given him maybe 20 games. PC gaming has really taken off in the past couple years. A lot of people are starting to get their indie fix on PC. At this point, like, you can definitely go, get your Nintendo fan Super Mario RPG or something like that. But I think a Steam gift card, it seems impersonal, but honestly, like, you get them 20, 30, $50 in Steam gift cards, you're filling up their entire next year with games.
Yeah, and I don't know if I think Steam does it, but I know Epic Game Store has a free game every week, and they've had like some really good ones. Like they had like the whole Fallout series for free at one point last year. Like the Evil Dead game was free one week.
The 3 Destiny expansions are going to be free like next week.
Yeah. So that's something else to keep an eye on if you are into PC gaming, definitely. As for myself, I was trying to think of, I don't want to do video games again or comic books or whatever. So I went with the old standby Legos.
Okay.
I think this one's pretty cool. I have problems with modern day Disney, but this is classic Disney, and I thought this was a really cool Lego set.
So cool.
Let me zoom in on it. Let's see if it'll let me. Oh, not the picture of Gerard. Hold on. Where is it? Here it is. So it has let me see. It has the film strip coming out. As you can see all the different Disney movies on the film, like Jungle Book and Rescuers and Little Mermaid and everything. And then it comes with a little Walt Disney and Bambi and Dumbo and everything. I think this is a really, really cool set. And then the top of the camera says 100 for 100 years of Disney.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. That's really cool.
I didn't notice it either until I was just looking at it. I was like, oh, yeah, it's the 100 years of Disney. Of course it is. So I think this is, if you are a Disney fan, this is a really neat set.
And what you could do is you can take off the head of the Lego Walt Disney and you can stick it in the freezer.
That's right. Oh yeah, and he could look. He could sit inside of it. That is so cool.
That's fun. I like that.
Yeah, and he's always got the little drawing of Mickey Mouse in there. That is so neat.
Oh man, you know what you could do? You could buy this, and then you can also buy the Lego Death Star and have them fight it out.
Yeah, you can have the Emperor in there, or you can put Kathleen Kennedy in there and have her destroyed everything. It's great.
Clapper. Oh wow, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, really really cool little Lego set I found. Yeah, I think it's pretty
Lego
cool.
sets are definitely getting more creative now. They're cool.
Yeah, they're doing more artsy set like plants and stuff, and um, aquariums and all kinds of crazy stuff. So
I think it all started with like them coming out with like the Dubai Tower and
yeah,
the Empire State Building and all that.
yeah, definitely. If you have a Lego store in your area, go check it out. They have some sets there you won't find in regular stores, and they're kind of mind blowing. Some of the sets they have there.
Yeah, I think the last one, it's not mine, but I did assist somewhat in this one, was the Lego Aston Martin. My friend has it, and it's really cool. It was actually the last one at our Lego store, and those were limited.
Yeah, the one set I regret not buying, and I've been tempted to buy it from some knockoff site, is the Voltron Lego set. I
What's
really
that
wish
one?
the Voltron set. You haven't seen that one?
No.
It came out probably 5 years ago, maybe longer. Da, 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 da. Hold on one second. I'm gonna show it on the screen. That'd be awesome. Caleb will weep. It was the Voltron Legos. You could split them up into the 5 lions and everything.
I was gonna ask that.
Yeah. You could still buy it for pretty cheap.
I was about to say, you've been tempted by $500 for this.
No, I could probably get it for 50 online.
Are those repros or?
Yeah, there's a what's that site? It's not Alibaba. What is Ali something? AliExpress, is that what it is?
I'm not familiar.
Anyhow, that's where I bought my turtle figures for really cheap. So yeah, this is a set that I've been tempted by. I was gonna show one other cool gift that I saw. It's a little more expensive than I want to pay for a jigsaw puzzle, but I mentioned it just because it's so hard to find cool Looney Tunes stuff. This is a really cool Looney Tunes puzzle.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, all the characters wearing Bugs Bunny ears. I love it when a jigsaw puzzle has like all the characters on it. And this one's pretty cool.
Well, that's just funny because now you don't know whose ears they are.
Yeah, Bugs is right there next to Taz, but he's a little hard to find. So yeah.
Hold on. I still haven't found him. Give me a second. Hey, there he is.
Yeah.
It's like, where's Waldo?
Right. Yeah. So that's a really fun. If you like jigsaw puzzles, I saw it one the other day, and I was like, oh, if it was $20, I would totally get that. A little pricey, but who knows? I'll probably get some gift cards for Christmas, maybe. The other thing I'm probably going to buy, if you want to follow along on the show, I'm probably going to try to pick up Astro City pretty soon, and we will do our Astro City read very, very soon.
Yeah. You got me that last year, and I've been holding off on it because I want it to stay fresh in my mind so we can talk about it.
Yeah. So I think it's Astro City Metro book.
Yep.
We will definitely be doing that here very, very soon. I think they're up to volume 4 of those. And I don't know how many there's going to be total. I think volume 4 would cover most of the series, but also I think he's still publishing Astro City. I'm not sure, but yeah, this will be a book we'll probably be discussing probably in February. I want to say maybe March.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I read this over 20 years ago. I remember being blown away by it. And it was like one of those stories that Wizard Magazine always recommended. So we will see if it stands the test of time when we get to it here because next month will be Narnia. So this may be the February book that we discuss.
Mm-hmm.
So very cool. Uh, so let's go ahead, and I wasn't planning on doing this, but I'm gonna do it. We're gonna pull up the list of what the next couple of shows are planning to be, just so you at home can follow along. Let me pull this up real quick. Stop sharing. Do, 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 do. Just give me 5 seconds here. So, Caleb, while I'm doing this, what do you want for Christmas?
Oh, you know what's funny? As I've gotten older, that question has become more difficult because immediately I'm like, next month's rent.
Welcome to adulthood.
I mean, because like for me, next month's rent is like it's like 2 PS5s. So, but yeah, no, my parents got me an Apple Watch, and that's kind of like the main thing, and I got that for my birthday. So this Christmas is just gonna be full of surprises for me.
Nice. For myself, as I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of gargoyles out that I want right now. So,
Yeah.
I think Lexington and Angela are the two ones I need to finish my clan. I found Elisa or Eliza, however you say her name, yesterday, and then Xanatos will be the other one. So, but here's our schedule coming up. Today we did Frailty Green Knight. As we mentioned earlier, Best of 2023 will be in 2 weeks. Then Narnia. And then on January 14th, we'll do coming attractions. What movies look interesting.
And I tried my best because there's really not a whole lot as far as superhero and comic books. I tried to just steer clear of comic books in general, and I thought it'd be a more interesting show for that.
There's probably some more we'll add to this list, like the Civil War trailer. I think would be fun to discuss.
What's that one?
I believe it's an A24 film about if there was a civil war in the country today, what would that look like?
Oh, okay. I thought it was going to be like, and then John Wilkes Booth is like, "Now off with your head."
The weird part of the movie is California and Texas are on the same side. I still can't wrap my head around that. So
I think I've heard of this at some point. You know, that sounds familiar.
And I can never remember his name, but the guy from Parks and Rec is the president.
Nick Offerman?
Yes.
Played Ron Swanson?
Yes, he is playing the president.
Yeah.
So.
John Swan is a different person that we're not supposed to talk about.
All right. So there you go. That's our show for the night.
And then Forgotten Cartoons at the end, which is
Forgotten Cartoons.
We've been trying to get to that for 3 months.
Yeah, we keep forgetting about it. I'm sure it'll fall off the schedule again.
Forgotten Cartoons, we keep forgetting about it. I mean, that's almost like, you know, forgetting to donate to dementia research. Like there's a poetry there.
Yeah. So we hope everyone has a Merry Christmas. We are so thankful that everybody who's joined us this year. The channel is growing. Continue sharing this with your friends. Really exciting, and I'm really excited to see where this channel goes in the next year.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful that you're on the ride with me, Caleb, and can't wait to see what we do next year.
Yeah, definitely.
So until then, I've been Final Monkey.
And I'm Caleb.
And we'll catch you next year in the shark pond. See ya.
See ya.